Hey Watchdogs, it's Dave Kadoff. How are you today? I am doing a short, hopefully, video showing you guys how to gather evidence and submit a letter of protest for a trademark. It's really simple. I'll probably go slower than will actually take you once you see how it's done. Now, this method that I'm using is perfect for newly applied for trademarks, all the way up to trademarks that have not quite entered the opposition period. And if you don't know what that is, the opposition period is that point where the examining attorney has done his or her job and says, okay, this is good. Now let's see if anybody in the public wants to oppose the trademark. The problem with that is that costs money. You need a lawyer. You're not going to get it done yourself unless you are a paralegal or a lawyer. So we have the opportunity through this letter of protest process to impact these trademarks early in the process. And quite frankly, the earlier the better. You do not have to wait till something is published for opposition. And frankly, don't wait till it's published for opposition, because once it's published for opposition, the requirement for the evidence goes up markedly. It has to be much better, much more evidence. At this point, if you're early in the process, if something has been applied for, but it hasn't even been assigned to an examining attorney, that's the best time to get this done. And that's what we're going to go to today. Now, earlier today, we got a request in the Merch Watchdogs group for Born in the USA from Amanda Balcazar, and she had volunteered to go protest this and file the letter of protest herself. But I thought we could kill two birds with one stone. I could show everybody else how to do it, and we could get this trademark protest. So before I start, though, I wanted to let you know that there are a couple of Chrome extensions that I use to help speed along the process. And one of them is something called Tangent Tests, and you'll see what this one does in a few minutes. But basically, it helps you narrow down the list of trademarks that you're looking for, because it specifically looks for things in the clothing category, which is called an International Class 025. And if you're like, what the heck is International Class 025? You don't really need to worry about it, because this plugin will find it for you. But really, an international class is so how all the nations of the world that follow trademark law agree that these codes mean certain things. So 025 around the world means clothing. And the other thing that I do is I like to take big screenshots of the entire page of evidence. What I was finding, though, is when I used just about every other method, when I would take a screenshot, it would, the screenshot itself would shrinky-dink all the way really small, so that even though it was a full page and it might have been like 3, 4, 5 pages if you printed it out, it would shrink it up so it fit on a 1-by-1 page. And that stunk, because what happened is I got a bunch of letters of protest denied simply because they couldn't read the type that was on those small one-page images. So if you take 4 screenshots and shrink them up, nobody's going to be able to read what's on the shirt without magnifying glasses. So this particular plugin helped me figure out a way to not only gather a full-page screenshot, but also parse it out so that it prints on multiple pages, so that when they being the examining attorneys at the USPTO, print this information out, they can actually look and read that information, and they won't deny any more of my letters of protest for that, because my images were too small, and nor will they do that to you. So let's have at it, though. First thing we want to do is go and search for a trademark, and we're going to just go to the USPTO trademarks page and search for a trademark. Now, I'm going to show you one thing first, and then I'm going to show you the way I do it. Because a lot of people do not have tangent tests Chrome extension already installed on their browser. I'd recommend that you do it. But here's what would happen is if we looked for Born in the USA, just without any kind of help, we'd click on the basic word mark search. That's what we're looking for. And we just type born in the USA. That's it. And then we'd submit the query. And you see there are a bunch of born in the USA. Some say born in the USA, some born and grazed in the USA, born in the glamorous USA. We don't know whether these are clothing or not. It's kind of a hassle to go through that list. So before that plugin, or if you do it without that extension, you got to kind of go through every one and check, unless you know how to refine the search, which that's another video, folks. So, and here's why that's super important though. Because when you're looking for evidence later on, you're going to want to make sure that the evidence matches the exact phrase. So if we were protesting born and grazed in the USA, we would need to find a parallel that says born and grazed in the USA, exactly that. Nothing more, nothing less. Yes, you can have graphics around it, but the text itself would have to say born and grazed in the USA. And if we look at this list, we're going to see a lot of born in the USAs, and we don't know which one to do. So to help yourselves out, download and install the Tangent Test Chrome extension. And what it does for me is it will only search for clothing, International Class 025. And it'll also only look for things that match exactly what I type in. So it won't show me born and grazed in the USA. It'll just show me things born in the USA. And there you go. Look at that. We had 74 on the prior attempt. Now we only have 7. And look, most of them are dead. So we've got 2 that we can look at. And one of them actually has a registration number. Now, here's something that I think people get confused. When you see a serial number, it just means it's applied for. If you do not see a registration number, it means it's not yet a trademark. They're attempting to get it trademarked, but it is not yet a trademark. It is live and in the process. That does not mean it will go through. It just means it's live in the process. And so let's look at this one. Born in the USA, well, that's the exact phrase we're looking for. The issue here is it's International Class 006, but there's also a U.S. class of 025. Now, the U.S. classes and the international classes don't mesh up exactly. The U.S. classes are subclasses. I don't want to really get you confused. The most important thing to look at is for IC, International Class 025. That's apparel, that's clothing. So this is one, there's not much we could do about this one anyway, because it's already been granted a trademark, but there is one more that we could look at that's live. Again, live just means it's in the process. It has no registration number. So if we go over here and we look, there you go, International Class 025. So that's clothing. That's in our wheelhouse. This is one that we want to protest. So before we go ahead and protest it, and you could go gather evidence right now, I just want to show you one more thing. This is something called the TSDR. You're like, why is he clicking on that blue button now? Well, the TSDR is just the trademark status and document retrieval. It's the public record. Everything that's gone on from the application onward is contained in this system. And what I like to look at the status. And the reason I want to look at the status is I want to see where it is in that process. The earlier in the process I said, the better. The later, the more evidence, the stronger the evidence needs to be. So right now this says new application will be assigned to an examining attorney approximately 3 months after the filing date. Well, guess what? It was filed April 17th. So April to May, May to June. So by July 17th, it'll be assigned to an examining attorney. But that's great for us because it's still early in the process. We do not have to wait until it's assigned to an examining attorney. And frankly, please don't wait. And why? Why is that the case? Well, simple. Because if you file a letter of protest and it is accepted, that evidence, now it has to be third-party objective evidence, will be attached to the application and given to the examining attorney. So we've got a head start here. The examining attorney is not just going to get the application and have to do all the searches his or herself, but that examining attorney is going to get our evidence and they're going to be able to use that. So we're actually saving them time. We're bird dogging things that they may or may not see. And that's actually why the USPTO really likes these letters of protest. They don't dislike them. It's not more work for them one way or the other. What it is, frankly, if we get one that's approved, those letters of protest actually shorten the cycle for the examining attorney. So we're good to go here. Status is perfect. Other statuses would be published for opposition. Once you see published for opposition, that's a whole new ball game. And that's when you have to do what I call a Morgan Rees, the Trademarkinator style letter of protest. And those things are between 50 and 75 pages long. And they have to be really detailed, really spot on. The evidence has to be really, really, really compelling. And we don't want to get to that stage if we don't have to. So with this particular trademark application, we're golden. One thing to make sure of though, is you write down the U.S. serial number. You're going to need that later when we go ahead and file the letter of protest. Okay, so I actually have it written down right here on a text file. And you'll see what all this other, what looks like mumbo jumbo, it will be important, and you will see what, why and how I use it when we get to filing the letter of protest. All right, so let's go get some evidence. Now, what I do is I open up an incognito window, typically, and I'm going to open up 4 tabs. And why 4 tabs? Because I'm going to go to 4 different sites to gather the evidence. I'm going to go to Amazon, okay, and I am going to go to Etsy, and I am going to go to Redbubble, and I'm going to go to Google Shopping. Hey Redbubble, you know what? I don't want to search. I want to actually go to the site. Huh. Oh, okay, they're not out of business. And by the way, if you look at that Redbubble homepage, does that not look like a slightly thinner version of Jacob Topping? Tell me I'm wrong. So anyway, let's go to Amazon and start at Amazon. Now, what we're looking for is the phrase "born in the USA." So let's go look. Born in the USA. Huh. What a surprise. It's mostly Bruce Springsteen stuff because he's probably the most well-known person used as the phrase "born in the USA." But we're not looking really for albums. In this case, we're looking for things that are representative of clothing or other kinds of things where the slogan could be printed on. Things like mugs, bibs, swimsuits, beach towels, hats, anything, but also including all different types of apparel. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to try to make it a little bit more specific. That's what happens if we do "born in the USA" with quotes and then put in the word "shirt." Let's just see what happens. Now there we go. This is what we're looking for. We're looking for this kind of evidence. And we're looking to see how much evidence that we can find of things that say "born in the USA" on it and just "born in the USA." Graphics are okay, but we, like this one right here, says "born in the USA" a long time ago. That applies to me, but it wouldn't apply to this trademark because a long time ago is additional text, and the USPTO will reject that as evidence. So let's see, do we get like 5 or 10 different things on this page that say "born in the USA"? Well, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, we're good, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, yeah, we got enough, 14, We definitely have enough. So that's plenty of evidence. From the very first page of an Amazon search, we found 14 plus examples of something that says born in the USA on it and just born in the USA across multiple brands. See, one of the things about trademarks is that it should indicate the source of where it came from. And what we're showing here is that, well, you can't tell which brand it was. It wasn't like it's Nike born in the USA. It's just the plain old slogan born in the USA. We don't know who the company is. So since it doesn't indicate the source, it's not really functioning as a trademark, or really can't function as a trademark. So this is a great page, a page of evidence. And you know, by the way, we're 25% done now with gathering the evidence. So all I'm going to do is take a big screenshot. I'm going to actually capture the entire page. Now what you could do is, if you don't have the plugin or don't want to put it on, is you could, if you're on Windows, do a Control-Shift-3 and it'll take a screenshot of the visible part of your screen. Or if you're on a Mac, you do Command-Shift-3 and it'll do the same thing. And then you can piece together those different graphics, those JPEGs, and then you could take those JPEGs and put them in a PDF, and then it sounds complicated, right? Just download the plugin, or a plugin very much like this. Now, here's something. We're ready. We've just taken the screenshot, and now we could save this as an image, but don't do it. Wrong answer. And see where it says, oh, you must mean save to PDF. No, I don't. Do not do either of those two things. And the reason is if you do it, it will actually shrinky dink the page so that it'll fit on an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. And the problem with that is when you do that, nobody can read what's on the shirts. See, I've done about 40 some odd of these letters of protest, and I had like 7 or 8 that got rejected. And it was every time they got rejected because that graphic was so small that they could not, at the USPTO, read the evidence, and it wasn't good enough to submit it onward in the process to the examining attorney. So we want to make sure that this stuff is big and legible when it's printed out. So here's what I do. I just go to print, and then I open it up in a PDF because I have to say, and look at that. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4 pages. So it took, instead of just being a graphic on one page, it's got everything spread out over 4 pages. And that's exactly what we want. If you look at it, and when they print this out, they're going to be able to read Born in the USA on all these shirts and all this other stuff. So that's perfect. So I want to save this. And I am going to save it to, not there, not to Mama Bear. How about just to the desktop? That'll make it easier. So there's one. Let's go back to my incognito window. And let's go to Etsy. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go Born in the USA with quotes around it because I want to narrow the search down to just that phrase. And let's see what Etsy comes up with. Even better than Amazon. Why? It's because it's got SVGs, just which are graphics. It's got, I can't call it a onesie. That's trademarked. We should know that by now. Born in the USA shirt. Design, shirt, onesie, shirt. Ooh, look at that. Well, it's made in the USA. That doesn't really count. Born in the USA. 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 Look at another SVG. Lots of different types of products beyond just shirts. And this is what... this is actually additional proof that it's in widespread use. We're not just saying, hey, it's been on this one shirt from this one company, that this phrase is on lots of different things, including shirts. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to take another screenshot. I'm going to capture that entire page. And once it shows up here, remember, I'm going to print it out because I want to make sure that it's going to show up across multiple pages and not be squished in one. Look at that. That's 4 more pages of evidence. So let's save this guy to the desktop. And we're halfway done. Imagine that. All right. Now, let's go back here. Now I'm going to go to Redbubble. Let's see what Redbubble tells me. Hi, Jacob. Oh, look at that. A sticker, a shirt, a shirt, a shirt, a shirt. Oh, a backpack. Even better. A shirt, a shirt. Oh, let's see. Board. No, that's close, but that's not it. Yep, we're going to be okay here. Born in the USA, born in the USA, born and raised in the USA is close, but not close enough. Born in the USA. Hi, Bernie. Look at that, huh? I'm just going to go look at the second page just to see if it looks better. No, it doesn't look that great. So we're going to take this screenshot too. And now we're going to be 3/4 of the way done. See, this is not taking long. If you can open up a browser, you can click on a print icon, you can gather evidence. It's really that simple. Here we go. Again, I'm clicking on the print button because I want to double check and make sure that my evidence is legible. And there you go. There's 5 more pages of evidence for the letter of protest. So it's the pages are piling up. So let's save that to the desktop. And let's go back here and let's just go to Google Shopping. And Google Shopping, there we go. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to go born in the USA and I'm going to use that. So I'm trying to actually get away from the Bruce Springsteen stuff because that's the stuff that's going to show up first. So I'm going to just let's try apparel. Maybe that might bring us closer to the, yeah, there we go. Born in the USA. Boom, look at that. Oh, born in the USA. You know what I'm going to do instead of just apparel? I'm going to type in shirt. Let's see how that works. Yeah, I think. That's a bunch of stuff. You know what? I'm going to show you an advanced trick. If you type in minus Bruce, anything that has Bruce in it, it will ignore. So let's see. There we go. Born in the USA, born in the USA, born in the USA. Wow. Yep. Sorry, Bruce. I love the boss, but he's not helping out when it's gathering evidence for this widespread use phase. And look at all that stuff. All that stuff looks great. That's great evidence. So now, take another screenshot, and guess what? Capture the entire page, and we are 100% done gathering evidence. This will be enough evidence to get the letter of protest accepted early in the process, which is where we're at with this trademark. So last one, let's do a print. And how many pages? A couple of pages, but that's going to be enough. And I promise you it's enough because most of my letters of protest just had 8 shirts on a page. That was it. Just one screenshot with 8 shirts. 4 of those and letters of protest were accepted because things were big and they were legible. So let's save this again to the desktop. And there we go. I just want to show you one thing I really like about this screenshot, the Fireshot screenshot, is that, let's hide this. Hide this. That's my kid. That's Zach, and that's Spooky, the world's fattest cat. What I like about this particular plugin or extension is that it actually puts the URL in the file title as well as the date that I took the screenshot. So that adds some additional information for the attorney advisor who reviews the letter of protest, as well as the examining attorney. So it's just a little extra and it's really nice. So let's go back here, and now we've gathered the evidence. What do we do now? Hey, how about we file a letter of protest? So here's the URL. Sometimes people have trouble finding the URL. It's right here. What I'm going to do is the information that I'm going to use to cut and paste into this letter of protest, I'm going to put that in a file in the file section of the Merch Watchdogs group. And I'll also make sure that I put the link to the letter of protest page. It's not straightforward in how to find that. I kept losing the URL until I put it in a bookmark. So this is it. Let's go file a letter of protest. The first thing we want to do is put in the serial number. Well, guess what? I have the serial number right here. And click continue. And let's just make sure, yes, born in the USA. That's the one that we want to go after, right? Now, you've got to choose a legal basis. And the legal basis we've been choosing, we've had the most success with, is this, other. What do you mean other? Well, remember I said I'd tell you what this stuff means before? Here's where this stuff comes into play. This particular verbiage says basically that this trademark is just informational matter. It's not an official trademark. It doesn't indicate source, shouldn't be registrable. It conveys a widely used message that consumers are accustomed to seeing, used in everyday speech by a variety of sources. And boy, did we show them some of that, right? We not only showed them 4 big e-commerce sites, but we showed them different brands within those e-commerce sites. So yeah, it's used in a lot of places. This should go through. So I'm going to just cut and paste this stuff in here. And that's what you have to do. And then click continue. And it's like, oh, here we go. Now what do? The letter of protest. You have to give them the evidence. Well, how do we give them the evidence? Well, we're going to attach it. And choose a file. Oh, you saw some of the t-shirts that I was creating, so I don't know if I can do more than one at a time. No, you can only do one at a time. So Amazon first. And it's once you choose the file, you got to click attach, and you can see down in the bottom corner here it's telling you what percentage has been uploaded. All right, so that was one. Now let's do another one. Choose another file. And we did Etsy second. Let's do that one. Attach it. Perfect. Let's do the third one, which was Redbubble. I'm going to attach that one. And it's almost there. We are so close to being done. Whoop. Choose the last file, and was Google Shopping. And here we go. I'm going to attach that. Now, one thing I should say about the evidence, it says the file must be in the JPEG PDF format. There's the only 2 choices. You can't do a TIFF, a PNG, you can't do a Word doc, nothing. It has to be a JPEG or a PDF. If you do a JPEG, it has to be 5 megabytes or less. If you do a PDF, it's 30 megabytes or less. Well, none of these PDFs that I've uploaded are anywhere close to 30 megabytes. So we're good to go. So we've got the evidence, and once you've attached your files, the evidence, you want to go back to the form. And here we go. So now we've attached the evidence, and you can see 4 files attached. But what you have to do now is describe what the evidence is. And don't get crazy. You don't have to write about every single shirt. What you just basically have to do is tell them what the results are. I attached 4 files. The first one is Amazon search results for the expression. The second was Etsy search results. The third, Redbubble search results. The fourth, Google shopping results. And then I have this little tagline, notice the products are widely available across a variety of platforms. That's not an argument. It's not. I'm not trying to sway the person one way or another. Every single one of my letters of protest that has been accepted has had this exact verbiage, and as I said, 3/4 have gone through. And the ones that didn't go through were because I was a dope and my images were too small. And there's a joke that I could say, and I'm not gonna. All right, so I just cut and paste that sucker in there. And then I click continue. Oh my God, an error. It's not really an error. This happens sometimes. If you ever see this where it says it's been modified from to, what it's doing is it's stripping out what they call ASCII characters, ASCII. And it's just, sometimes when you cut and paste stuff from a text file into a browser, this can happen. They've made the change for you. If you saw a little red thing there, it would be bad. This is just a warning. Just ignore it. Click continue. And here we are. We're actually at where you put your protest information in. This is a form that you have to fill to identify yourself as the person who is submitting this protest. So I'm going to put in my name. And why don't I put my name in again? And there's no law firm, so you're going to see where this is my business address. So if you want to come and, oops, look at that, you're going to know my brand. This is my business address that I put in. Now you know my phone number. Oh, well. Whoops. But I like to put in a business phone number. There you go. And I always check this box where it says, check here to authorize the USPTO to issue a decision on your letter of protest via email. They never do. They always send you something via the mail. But if the Paperwork Reduction Act ever hits the USPTO, well, if you don't check that box, you'll never know. So, yeah, you're always going to get a letter. You're never going to get an email saying approved or denied. But what are you going to do? So we click continue, and this is how close we are to being done. Now we're signing this thing to basically online to say who we are. So what you got to do, though, is you've got to do, just see how my signature has a / and a backslash. You have to add the / and the backslash, or the 2 forward slashes in the front and the end of your signature, of your name. All right, it's just required. It says to electronically sign this letter of protest, enter alphanumeric characters of your choosing. You could put a big X there. You don't have to even put your name. And followed by a /. So start with a /, end with a /. If you just tab by date signed, it fills in the date for you. And then you could just put in your name. And then position, I just always use business owner. And then I do my phone number. And then it validates it for you, just to make sure you filled it out, your signature out properly. And, we're pretty much done here. So what we do now is I want an email acknowledgement saying, hey, Dave, you did fill this out and we received it. One thing I do, though, is just in case something happens, is I always click Save Form. And what it does is it basically saves all the information you put in as an XML file. So if you screw up and you need to start again, on that very first page, you can upload this file and it'll pre-fill out almost everything for you. And the next thing, we just submitted a letter of protest. I'm good. You'll be good too. See, this was easy. It really didn't take that much time. Now, you are going to get an email if you filled out the form properly, and that acknowledges the fact that they've received your protest. That's really all it's saying. I received the protest. I also like to get the PDF that they offer me. And that's it. So you can see, born in the USA, and the letter of protest, all the stuff I filled in. Oh, look, the 4 files are there, the description of the files, somebody can climb into my post office box now and hunt me down if they wanted to. Please don't do that. The people at that place are really, really nice. And that's it. So you've now watched me file a letter of protest. And it wasn't that long. All you really need early in the process is 4 pages, 4 good screenshots that are legible. Go fill out the forms online, and that's it. You know, watch this 1 or 2 times, and believe me, you'll figure it out. It's really, really not that hard. If you need help, you know where to reach me. Somewhere in that, somewhere on Facebook, or you got my phone number now. If you watch the video, you can just call me. And that's it, guys. Get on this. This is so easy to do. And really, if you just do just one of these, and that's all you ever do, it's a huge help. So thanks for watching. Let us know if you have questions. If I said something stupid or stupider than normal, let me know that too. Thanks, folks.